What is up, everybody? This is your host Supersight, and this video is not so light-hearted as my voice sounds, but I'm just going to go through something because recently, in fact earlier today from when I'm recording this video, I got scammed, and it's awful to get scammed. Anyway, I'll put the gameplay in the background so you can watch that while you hear what happened. And so I got scammed. It was kind of like I got a virus, but sort of anyway, it's absolutely awful, the fact that there's people in this world that would go out of their way to intentionally try and steal money or destroy software or create these scams, hack your computer. It's just absolutely awful. It's just, and when you get hacked or get scammed or something like that, it's just terrible. It feels so bad. It's like, this is your data, this is your information. You don't want people accessing it. You don't want people stealing it or stealing money or downloading malware onto your computer. And it was just really awful. But thinking about it rationally, thinking about it logically, I've sort of just thought, it is what it is. And so anyway, here's what happened. So anyway, we've got a shared computer in our household, and anyway, so a relative of mine was on it, and anyway, suddenly this scam thing came up. Now, they were just looking on Facebook, and so I don't know any clue why it came up, but it just came up. So anyway, I immediately rushed over, and it was just sort of saying, warning, someone has like possibly hacked your computer, or your computer's got a virus in it or something like that and anyway, and then it had this Microsoft, all this Microsoft logo stuff saying like, we have locked your computer, please contact us to unlock the computer, because you need to reactivate it, because we've currently locked it since we've detected all this issues on it. And so it had this here, and like the CPU was going through the roof, and I think it was possibly because they were crypto mining. Not sure, that's just one thing scammers use. So they basically put this malware and spyware on your computer, and then they use your computer and the processing power and your electricity to mine crypto, which is not very nice. It's awful if they do that, but it's not as bad as if they steal your data or whatnot. And also, for the record, my BattleLands account and my Heyday account are fine, which is awesome. I'm very happy. That's on my iPad. That was not affected by this thing. So anyway, this is all up there, and it's like, so anyway, I immediately depowered the computer and took it offline. I took it out from the internet, because I thought, well, the longer I leave it, if it's an actual scam, then it will be downloading all the, viruses and that. So anyway, then I went to my personal computer, which I bought like a couple of months ago, and so anyway, and then it looked up via my activity, the last website that the other shared computer was on. So anyway, since I thought, it was specific to that computer, and so, hence you needed the Microsoft thing to get it back via there, I was like, well, I'll just click on it on my one. So anyway, I stupidly clicked on the link. I thought, because I thought then it would take me to it, and then because I didn't see the message about what it was saying and the issues with the computer when my relative had clicked on it, because I immediately unplugged it, because I didn't want if they were downloading a virus had to have any more time. So I immediately unplugged it. So I didn't see. I just saw a couple brief thing of what it mentioned, but I didn't see the other stuff, because I just didn't want the virus to get those. So anyway, I come on my computer. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna check this website. like check out what it says. The Microsoft help support. I click it, and it's the flippin' virus again, and then it does it to my computer. I'm like, oh my goodness, why did I just do that? And so anyway, I'm sitting there, and I'm looking there, and it's up there, and it's using masses of my processing power to obviously do crypto, which is ironic, really, because I actually had considered at one point, I was like, if I could hook up my computer, to do crypto mining, while I'm not using it, I thought that would be kind of cool. But the reality is, to actually get your computer hooked up to do crypto mining is like extremely difficult and complex process. Well, based on my research to try and do that, because I thought, well, surely you just put it and you get a bit of extra money if you had it going. But yeah, the irony is, when the hackers, where scammers get your computer, boom, it's immediately mining for them. It's like, are you serious? You personally, it's hard to get, but then they can just do it anyway. So then I'm like, oh man. And so then it had the Microsoft phone number, and I'm like, to call for help, and I'm like feeling quite stressed, quite overwhelmed at that point. I'm like, well, I'll just give them a call and see what they say. I'll explain the situation. So anyway, I ring them up, and I'm like, who's this? And yeah, we're Microsoft, and it was like, totally English accent. He said he was, from California, the guy. And so I was like, yep, this sounds pretty legit. And so I'm like, so I have the problem in that. And he was a little bit pushy. He's like, when I'm trying to explain the issue, he's like, no, and he's like, yeah, he was a little bit. Anyway, then so he was gonna, like, I explained the issue, and he was sort of asking me a little bit about it. So he's like, how many devices have you got in your house? And I said how many and that. And anyway, then he's like, okay, so now to fix it, we're gonna have to do some stuff, right? And so I'm like, yeah, that's all good. And then I was like, wait a second, but, and then I said, with all due respect, sir, I don't mean to be rude in any such way. How do I know that you're actually Microsoft? Because you could be the hacker, and you could have been the one that put that website that, you know, that locked the computer and put that thing up on my computer, and then that's your number to a hacking, you know, you're the hacking group, and you're getting me to hand over my information. How do I know that it's not you? And it was sort of like, you know, because, you know, it's like, well, technically they could do that. They could just be, you know, the scam. And so then he was like, well, if you have an issue, then, you know, we didn't call you, you called us. And then I'm like, you know, sounds kind of valid, but I was a bit suspicious, because I'm like, well, he could be the hacker, and he's not verifying he's Microsoft. Plus, there was a point thingy back where when he was like, okay, just, you know, if you want my help, do this. And it was like, a Microsoft employee most probably wouldn't do that. They'd be respectful and be like, you know, they'd understand that you're in a very stressful situation if you're ringing them up saying, you know, both computers have been hacked. So anyway, I didn't hand over any, like, personal information to them, you know, or like emails or passwords or anything like that. But I was stupidly, you know, borderline giving them remote access to my computer, because I was not thinking straight. That, like, I was just, you know, like, oh no, my computer's gone. And anyway, but then he said, okay, type this into the search bar, and he started telling me what. And anyway, I made a mistake, right? And then he's like, do you want my help or not? I'm like, yes. And then he's like, nah. And then he then hung up. And so I think that was partly because I'd questioned whether he was a hacker, but it was like, mate, if he hadn't hang up, you know, if I hadn't said that, because I was semi-suspicious, but I would have just about given him remote access to my computer. It's like, oh my goodness, that was so dumb. It was so lucky he hung up. He almost got me. It was like, mate, if he could get me, and I know, I've heard so many people get scammed. I'm like, no, I'd never get scammed. I'd never fall for that. And then, oh my goodness, they just about got me. So I am so thankful that they didn't then, you know, if I had done that, that would have been so unbelievably stupid. But then I had the issue because I think that because it downloaded one thing onto my computer, but I then deleted it, but it still appeared that the crypto thing was going on. So I was like, oh, I better just restart my whole computer, because if I looked at Task Manager, it had Chrome with tons and tons of tabs, and one of them was using maximum power, and it was like suspending certain tasks. I'm not sure if that was a part of it or not. So anyway, then I'm like, oh man, and I was feeling a bit overwhelmed, a little bit stressed about it all, but I was like, you know, I was like thinking, I'm like, just think about it. Just think. The worst that can happen. The worst that can happen, right? It's very unlikely that it's ever going to be actual damaging to your software. My information's all there. It hasn't frozen my computer. I've been able to exit that tab, and everything's, you know, okay. There may be a virus in the background. The worst thing that can happen is, well, I'm just going to have to restart my computer and rebuy the programs like Filmora and Air Server and stuff like that. And then I'm like, and in all reality, it's not that bad. Like, it's a real pain having that done, but anyway, so I'm like, no, overall, it's not that big an issue. It's stressful in the momentary, but in a week, I won't even be thinking about this. It will all be over and done. Right now, it's extremely like, oh, but then it's like, nah, it's gonna be fine. So anyway, I went down to a local store, and I bought a 2 terabyte storage device, and so then I could then, you know, put the stuff from my computer, all the gaming footage, like hours of it, onto the drive, and then I could reset my computer, and then, so then that would completely get rid of it. So anyway, I went down and got that, brought it home, plugged it in, transferred the files onto it, and then I reset my computer, which restarted, and deletes all the applications, and I cleared all the files, so they weren't hiding any scam files anywhere. So I completely did that, and then I, you know, like, got it all back up and running, and I actually didn't need many files, because basically all I have as applications, I just have Discord, which is free. I had OBS, which is free, got that. Filmora, my account actually allowed, like, I think one more, so it was actually, I didn't have to pay another $80. I was real pumped about that, so that was also free to reinstall. So I got those 3, and then I reinstalled Chrome, and then the other one was, oh yeah, the Air Server. I did have to pay for that again, so I've had to pay for that 3 times, even though it's meant to be a lifetime license. But the thing is, the first time was on my old computer, like a year ago when I did that first stream. Anyway, then when I got, you know, that was very old. I'd had it for like 6 or 7 years or something. Then with this one here, then I got it recently, and so then when I had to to do those streams, and now I had to restart it, and you know, want to do recording and that with it. So then anyway, I bought that again. It's like, in all reality, $20, and you know, a day's worth of inconvenience isn't that bad. So I just sort of thought, it is what it is. I've learned from my mistakes of definitely don't, think, research before you act. Do not call that number ever, it's so, yeah, it was an interesting day, but actually, I've recovered. I'm back. I'm fine. My Heyday account's still there. BattleLands account's still there because it wasn't affecting my iPad. My computer's back up and running. I've got the apps reinstalled, the other ones that I had. And so actually, it's like, in all fairness, in all reality, it wasn't that as bad as I felt when it happened. But I just thought I'd share that with you, my scam story of me just about stupidly, scamming, but also just... Come on, scammers. Scammers, that's just so low. Like, it's just so sad. Like, why would you do that to people? It's just so wrong. It's just so bad. You're not contributing to society. You're just stealing resources. It's bad. It's terrible. But anyway, I'm so glad that nothing worse happened than what did happen. So I'm glad that I can continue doing my Heyday videos and continue doing my Battlelands videos and continue my YouTube channel. I am so happy that that's all good. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like. Please let me know in the comments. Is there anything similar you've ever experienced? Just be careful for those of you out there. Be very careful. It's just awful if it ever happens. So, install your antivirus protection where you got to keep that up to date. That's my advice to you. Don't want anything like this happening to you at all. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed my not so pleasing story. So thank you. This has been your host, Suicide, and I hope you have an awesome day.